Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to PVTV. I'm Stu, and we're live on YouTube and Facebook, and continuing with the sort of essentials part of Airsoft in tide with still keeping in with the new player. These have just landed with us over the last day or so. So these are the EMG Archon Type Bs. Kept the box out here because they're pretty cool, but we'll throw them off to one side and we'll get stuck into the actual product itself. So obviously come in two different colours, so we will cover these. If you have any questions on these whatsoever as we're going through them, please drop your questions down below. We'll flash them up on screen and make sure you get all the information you need at all times. So we'll stick with the black one to start with, and we'll do as we normally do. We'll go front to back, but again, these are identical. It's just the slide colour which is slightly different, and that bronze is really nice, so I wasn't going to leave that behind when it looks as cool as it does. So sidearms in general, vaguely an essential part of Airsoft. A lot of people do start here and then progress into a more primary role, but these just allow you to sort of get into handling safely and everything like that, and especially CQB sites that are quite fast, aggressive. People love that sidearm style of being able to move really, really quickly and get into this sport on quite a low budget. So when it comes to these are slightly different to a lot of other platforms out there. There's a few little quirky tricks to them, and I've been quite impressed with them just testing them on the chrono and on the range. So what does this have? So first off the bat, it's got an 11mm female thread on the front, so an adapter, and you can get your tracer unit on the front of it. So again, if you want in that Spitfire and you want in that orange flash and the tracer unit on the front, so you can fire your glow-in-the-dark BBs whilst you're cutting around in your very, very dark CQB site. It is doable on this, but you will need an adapter that is not included in the box. Coming back from that, we do have quite bright orange fibre front sight. So how these work is light hits this in any direction, and the way that fibre works, it then forces the light out of one end, causing a brighter spot on the back end here, meaning that you can line that up with the basic rear iron sights here. So as soon as you line them up and you see that little orange spot, you know you've got a sight picture down range and you're good to go. What will we notice when you get your hands on these, it's very, very hard to show in video, is that these have what's called a very, very low bore axis. So what that means is the distance from that sight to where the BB is going to come out from, the barrel, is a very, very small distance. Some sidearms, it can be quite large, so you can be a little bit off with sort of longer shots and sort of pinpoint accuracy. So what that means, it's a more consistent shot where the BB is landing, where this is sat, and it also means that the recoil is slightly different as well. So coming back, we do have serrations on the front and back of the slide, meaning that you can rack this from the front and the back, and there is a slight cutout at the front. Again, it's just assisting in that front grab if that's what you're going for. Again, it is also a little bit for sure. Other bit we've got, we do have a short 20mm rail on the front end here, so if you are wanting your little NX300 or anything like that, little pistol torch, very, very easy to attach on here, and it does look very, very neat and tidy with a torch on this. It looks really, really cool. So coming a little bit further back, there is a very, very sort of enlarged trigger guard on this, so it's almost oversized, so if you are wearing gloves, you're not going to be restricted by any movement or trying to get in there, especially in cold weather. If you're wearing some big, thick mittens, you're still going to be able to get your finger in there. What I will say with this, we've not measured it, we haven't got the device to do it, but the trigger pull on this is very, very heavy. But it is very, very positive. It's not heavy in a sort of derogatory or bad way. It is just quite a positive pull. So when it does snap and go off, it is really nice when the reset comes in and coming up for that second follow-up shot. The grip itself has a very unique, not seen before style grip. These are sort of angled squares in various different sort of shapes, almost look like wedge style shapes. And the way they've done it is as you come in, they're towards the back, and then at the front where your hand will go and pull down, they've put the higher side in all the points of friction. So it is a very, very positive, and especially with gloves on, you just absolutely stick to this thing rock solid. There is a reference point again here for when you're coming in. Again, this is again for drawing from a holster and everything like that. Reference points are more for the quick draw and target shooting aspect. But again, if you are practicing and training with this thing, reference points are very, very, very cool. So as you come into this, the controls on it are right-handed. I don't believe they swap over. The slide lock especially doesn't, but the slide lock can be found just here. So as that comes back, you can drop that down, and once you get a new mag in there. Mag release is on the left-hand side. Releases a 20-round gas little magazine. These things feel really, really small. They are pretty much the same size of a lot of other platforms. So they're just, I don't know what it is about them. They just feel quite small and neat and tidy. So once these are in your rig, they're not going to take up that much room, and they're not going to be that intrusive when they're in pouches and everything. So they just feel a little bit more dense and compact, but still wide enough and large enough that you're going to get plenty of gas in these. So when it comes to loading these, you can grab the follower, pull it all the way down, and rather than trying to force BBs past the feed lips, you can put them in the gap here. Just drop them in there, and it'll double stack all the way down. You can fit 20 plus 1 if you have one in the chamber. Throw an extra BB in there, and then you're good to go. So what they have done as well with the base plate is the back of the base plate is chamfered backwards and has a little cutout in it. So if this is in your rig, it is very intuitive to grab and pull that out. So it's almost like it's got its own inbuilt mag pull on the magazines. Very neat, very tidy, and very convenient. And it sort of matches the profile of the grip as well. Other features of it is there are other sort of reference points, again, on the sort of low receiver at the front. So again, reference points are really, really good for sort of the speed, target, rapid shooting, and everything like that. But if we do come to the bronze one, again, I'll just quickly go through the things that we've covered for anyone that's joining us recently. So this is the EMG Archon Type B, fully licensed by EMG and built by Cybergun. So it has an 11mm female threaded front end, so you will need an adapter if you're wanting to put your Spitfires or anything like that on there. It does have the fibre sight at the front, and it has a very, very low bore axis. So by that I mean the point of shot is very, very close to the barrel, so it's going to be very, very accurate. Speaking of that, it does have a 90mm inner barrel. Not sure if it's Type bore yet. We haven't got the gauges out to test to confirm what's about it. If it's been confirmed, one of the guys will have put it on the website on the description. So these are on there right now if you want to check them out. So again, as I was saying earlier, you do have serrations on the front and the back of the slide, meaning that you can rack this from both sides. Very, very positive, nice, clean build. It's got some weight to it for it being such a small pistol. I think this is knocking on the door. It's about 450 grams, a little bit more, close to 500. So it is a dense lump, but it is because it's been built very, very well. So CNC top slide, keeping that light, but this thing is just a dense package. Really, really cool. Like I was saying earlier, this does have a very, very heavy trigger on it, but not in a bad way, in a really, really good way. So when that trigger breaks, it's very positive, very clean, very, very snappy response on the slide coming back. The reset's really positive and really, really nice. This thing's coming out the box about 270-ish FPS. So plus or minus 10% on that. And again, depending on what gas you're using, that's probably tested on the Ultra Air or Neutral 2.0. So again, you can swing that either way if you start putting black gas or Garda or 4.0 in there. So again, with the sights as well, you come back to a standard rear sight, just meaning that you can get a clean sight picture. This is more focused on day clear shooting and target shooting. It will still function and be quite popular with people running CQB with dark areas because of the fibre front end. It's still very, very easy to pick up. But because you've got that rail on the front end, a torch is going to be very, very useful on this, and it does look very neat, very tidy, and very cool with a little NX300 on there. As I was saying with the trigger guard, it is oversized, so it's very, very easy to sort of keep a positive lock on there and then get in when needed. And the grip on here is something I've never seen before, but again, feels really good. especially when you've got gloves on, this thing sticks to the hand like absolute glue. Very, very positive, very, very clean, and really cool to shoot when it's on the range. Mag release on the left-hand side, along with the slide lock. So with it locked back, and then clicking that, it'll come forward. And again, it comes with a 20-round gas blowback magazine that you fill from pulling the feed down, and you fill it from the bottom here. You don't fill it from the feed lips because you could split them apart and maybe crack them. Just fill the BBs from down here and go from there. As I was saying with the base plate, only just noticed this before going live, is the fact that they've fashioned the base plate into almost like a Magpul style system. So the back of it tapers down. You can hook that with your finger, pull it out of your rig, and get it out and into this thing really nice and easily. So that's the EMG Archon. If you've got any other questions, please throw them up and we'll get them answered. Oh, we've got some Jibby on YouTube. What gun has the highest RPM on the site? Completely depends. Probably you'd probably have to go for something a little bit custom built for high RPM. High RPM doesn't really benefit anything apart from wearing the gearbox out faster. So a very, very good semi-auto does produce a fast rate of fire. But a fast rate of fire is going to wear out a lot quicker, need replacement parts, replacement gears, replacement pistons. If you are after a high rate of fire and consistency over a long time, you're probably looking at HPA. But again, rate of fire doesn't really do it for me, so unfortunately. Mike on Facebook, can you tell me what's the best starter sniper to go for? Starter snipers, there's probably a couple out there at the moment. You've got the Evolution M40 style one, or the Spectre Arms equivalent, the SO3. You can get that with a scope and bipod. If they're not available at the moment, just get yourself the rifle and a scope and you are good to go. Some of them come with 3 mags already. They're up there at that really nice power limit. If you have a larger budget, the Modify is very, very good for the price that it is. It is very, very, very expensive, but it is done out the box. There is nothing else to do to it. So people getting these starter snipers, spending X amount of money, getting a scope, getting a bipod, getting a suppressor, and then piling all the money on the bits internally, you could just buy the Modify and be done, and you're there out the gate with what is essentially a 470 FPS excellent sniper rifle, and you're good to go straight away. Just bang yourself a nice optic on it, and that's it, you're done. But if that's everything for today, it's been quite short, because obviously covering pistols, there's not an amazing amount of features on them, but these things are really, really cool, and we wanted to show them off to people. But this is the EMG fully licensed Archon Type B. If you want to get your hands on these, they're online now. But if that's everything for today, we will be back at 4 PM tomorrow with something new. Until then, I'll see you in a bit.